Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming OCS exams happening in November 2025. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for OCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I'm going to take you through the technicalities behind your OCS exam. For most of you, this might be your first CIMA case study examination. So it's essential that you understand what type of knowledge areas are tested, how your knowledge is tested, and at the same time, what you need to do in the upcoming 8 weeks leading up to your exam with regards to preparations. And along with it, towards the very end of today's webinar, I will be sharing an 8-week study plan with you, thereby explaining what you need to achieve on a week-by-week basis leading up to your examination in order to conduct your preparations in a stress-free environment. All right, so before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you of the upcoming webinars and workshops we have scheduled for you. Mind you, all these webinars and workshops are conducted free of charge. So the next webinar, which is one of the most important webinars, is happening next Friday at 18 GMT, in which I'm going to take you through the pre-scene document, thereby conducting a pre-scene analysis. As you know, your pre-scene, which is relevant for November 2025 and February 2026 OCS exams, will be released on Friday. And coinciding with this pre-scene release date, I will be conducting a pre-scene analysis in which I'm going to take you through the industry dynamics of your chosen company and at the same time take you through your pre-scene document. Also, I will highlight how you should tackle pre-scene application, because when developing your answers, as and when necessary, you need to refer to pre-scene information. I will explain how you are supposed to do this in the most successful manner in the upcoming pre-scene analysis webinar. And in the third webinar, answering technique, out of the 4 webinars which we have scheduled for you, the third one is the most important one, because in it, I'm going to teach you answering and time management techniques, which are crucial to pass this examination. So in the third webinar, after teaching you answering and time management techniques, I will also take you through an answer plan concerning mock exam 1, which we have developed for you, thereby explaining how to implement these answering and time management techniques in a practical sense. So make sure to attend the third webinar without fail. And in the fourth webinar, exam prep, I will be taking you through examiner's comments, thereby taking you through the examiner blueprint, thereby highlighting what the examiner expects from you. And at the same time, I will share some tips which will enable you to bounce back from a failure, because results will be out by the time we are conducting the fourth webinar concerning the previous exams, which happened in August 2025, just last month. So if you had failed the examination, I will tell you what you need to do to rebound from such failures. And at the same time, I will share some stress management techniques with you, because in order to pass this exam, it's essential that you master answering, time management, and stress management techniques. So all these elements will be taught in the third and fourth webinars. And once we are done with the webinar series, we are kickstarting our workshop series focused on each of your syllabus pillars, F1, P1, and E1. And in each workshop, I will be conducting a masterclass concerning a certain question taken from one of our mock exams concerning your F1, P1, and E1 syllabi. And at the same time, I will be taking you through each syllabus area, thereby explaining how each syllabus area can be tested at the exam, along with a Q&A session, because by the time you are attending these workshops, according to our study plan, you should be done with at least 1 or 2 mock exams. And definitely when, after attempting each mock exam, you will have questions. I'm always there to help you guys out and address your concerns in each of these workshops. And in the final workshop, which happens 2 or 3 days before your examination, I will be sharing last-minute tips with you to make sure that you walk into the exam with a high level of positivity, believing in yourself, because as per the CIMA examiner, if you are confident about your skill set, if you are confident about what you have gained via the preparations, you will definitely pass this exam. So make use of these free resources on offer. Attend these webinars and workshops live so that you can get all your questions answered. And at the same time, this is the best way to keep tabs about your performance on a weekly basis. Having said that, let's try to understand what this examination is all about. There are two pathways leading up to the OCS exam. So a set of students come through something called the CIMA general route. So these are the type of students who have completed their OTQ or objective test question examinations. So if you have completed your OTQs, you are already conversant with what appears within your P1, F1, and E1 syllabi. So you will be somewhat comfortable compared to someone who is coming through an exemption route such as FLP, because you have already learned theory. So this examination is a theory-heavy exam. At the OCS exam, 85% of the questions are intended to test your conceptual knowledge or theoretical knowledge. So since this is a theory-heavy examination, if you have completed your OTQs, if you have already learned what appears within your F1, P1, and E1 syllabi, you need not worry too much when it comes to conducting preparations. It's simply a matter of practicing your application skills or polishing your application skills, since you have already learned theories. So if you're coming through the general route, you will find this examination to be somewhat easier relative to someone who is coming through an exemption route. So that's the first part. The second part consists of students who are coming through the exemption route, which is known as the Finance Leadership Program or FLP. So if you're coming through FLP, you will have knowledge gaps definitely, because you have not learned what appears within E1, F1, and P1 syllabi. So this examination is theory heavy, as I mentioned earlier, and at the same time, a high level of prominence is provided towards your F1 and P1 syllabi. So almost all syllabus areas covered under your F1 and P1 syllabi will be tested at the exam. E1 will not be tested too much at this examination. Why? Because E1 has everything to do with decision making. But at this stage, you're not supposed to arrive at decisions or recommend decisions. Instead, you are supposed to assist decision makers. So that is why E1 is not really tested at this exam, but P1 and F1 will be heavily tested. So most students who come through the exemption route, they are somewhat comfortable with E1. But when it comes to F1 and P1, which consist of highly technical areas, there are knowledge gaps. However, don't worry. If you're coming through an exemption route, you still can pass this exam with proper guidance. Because if you're coming through an exemption route, you have to attempt the 6 mocks which we have developed. When you do so, you will learn how each syllabus area is tested. You have to go through the answer plans which we have developed focused on the same 6 mock exams. You will understand what these things are in a little while, because I will explain how your knowledge is tested via the questions, what type of questions are thrown at you, how you should develop your answers, and you would understand what answer plans are. So we have developed some additional resources and shared them with you, especially focused on those who are coming through the exemption route such as FLP. So you need not worry. It's simply a matter of you having to work a bit harder compared to someone who is coming through the general route. So once I'm done with the entire webinar, once I've taken you through the 8-week study plan which we have developed, you will see for yourself that although I'm saying that you should work a bit harder compared to someone who is coming through the general route, it's going to be a walk in the park if you stick to our study plan, because you need not stress yourself too much. Stick to a structured approach. If you do so, you can easily cover all syllabus areas. You can easily be conversant with how each syllabus area is tested. If so, you will end up passing this examination comfortably. All right, and let's try to understand how your exam is structured. So this is a PC-based examination. You have 2 options at your disposal. You can either attempt this exam at home on your own PC, or you can attempt the exam at an examination center. So if you are faced with regular power cuts, and if you do not have access to good internet connectivity, I'm recommending you to attempt the exam at an examination center. However, on the other hand, if you are totally fine with power as well as internet connectivity, attempt the exam at home. because you will, have your bearings, or you'd be conversant with your keyboard, you'd be comfortable with your keyboard, which is going to help you at the examination, because you have to, operate under exam conditions, stressful conditions across 3 hours, which is not too easy. On top of that, when you have to type on a new keyboard, and when this creates complexities, it will throw you off the exam mentality, as well as exam preparation strategy. So, these are the things which you need to consider when it comes to deciding whether you should attempt the exam at home or at an examination center. And in total, the time allocation is 3 hours, and your paper is divided into 4 main tasks. And in each task, the time allocation is 45 minutes. So let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. So, I'm going to take you through one of the mock exams which we developed for the previous case study examination, OCS exam. And as you can see, this paper is divided into 4 main parts, and each part, the time allocation in each part is 45 minutes. So let's assume you are in section number 1, you will see a timer running out starting from 45 minutes. And once the first 45 minutes are done, you will be directed to section number 2. And once you are in section number 2, you cannot go back to section number 1. So that's what you need to remember. You should not try to plan your time thinking that, I'm going to manage 3 hours of my time. That should not be your approach. Instead, you should think in terms of 4 slots of 45 minutes each, or 4 sections of 45 minutes each, because when you are in section number 2, you cannot go back to section number 1. So when it comes to managing your time, you should come up with plans to manage 45 minutes, 4 slots of 45 minutes each. And in each section, you will see 2 or 3 subtasks. So in this paper, in each section, there are 3 subtasks in total. But at your examination, you might see certain sections which carry just 2 subtasks, and certain sections which carry 3 subtasks. So that's exactly what you can see here. We are in section number 1. The time allocation is 45 minutes, and there are 3 subtasks: subtask A, subtask B, and subtask C. And your knowledge is tested in a practical manner. So if you look at this question, it's as if you are receiving an email from your superior, just like what you'd see in a real-life corporate environment. So the examiner tries to replicate a real-life corporate environment with the intention of ensuring that you are capable of applying your knowledge, which you have gained via your E1, F1, and P1 syllabi, in a practical sense, because that's what you are expected to do at office. So when you walk into office, when you open your laptop or your computer, and when you check your emails, you will see that your superior is seeking some guidance concerning certain issues faced by the company, concerning certain opportunities the company is trying to exploit. So your job is to provide assistance to the decision makers of your company, or provide assistance to the superior. When providing assistance, you are not supposed to explain theoretical concepts. Instead, you are supposed to apply the knowledge which you have gained via your F1, P1, and E1 syllabi when developing your answers. And also make sure to develop answers which are aligned with each and every scenario and each and every requirement. So there's a way in which you should do this. I will explain all these things in depth in the 3rd webinar, answering technique, because you need to get your grips with how to do this in a practical sense. For instance, this question is tied to activity-based costing. So you are supposed to explain how an ABC approach can be adopted for costing production operations and its benefits. So when developing your answer, you need to consider the production operations which occur within your chosen organization. So some reference material will be shared with you, which provides you with additional information concerning the knowledge area tested. So that is exactly what you'd see at office. Your superior will share an email with you along with attachments which carry additional information. So that's the exact same methodology which is adopted at this exam. And at office, when responding to an email, rather than trying to explain theoretical concepts which your superior is not too interested in learning, your job is to develop answers which are aligned with, develop responses which are aligned with the scenario and addresses the requirement fully. And in order to develop high quality answers, you will utilize the knowledge which you have gained via the courses which you have followed. So that's exactly what you should replicate at this examination. So that's how your examination is structured, and your pass mark is 80 out of 150. Out of 150 marks, you need to score 80 marks, or as a percentage, you need to score 54%. So even if you screw up half your paper, you still can pass this examination because you are not getting a grade. This is a professional qualification. This is not an academic qualification. In a professional qualification, it's just a pass mark. So if you score 80 or more, you will end up passing this exam comfortably. So what you need to do is these type of questions will be thrown at you at your exam. That's the exact same thing which you can see in here as well. Again, you are receiving an email. There's a scenario which highlights about something the company is facing at the moment, along with a requirement. That's the same methodology which you can see in here. There's a scenario as well as requirements, and along with it, some additional material are shared with you. And when developing answers, you need to stick to an answering technique, thereby developing something called answer plans. So before you finalize your answer, you are supposed to develop something like this, an answer skeleton or an answer structure, thereby planning out your answer, because this is exactly what you'd do at office. So if you receive an email which needs a complex response, before finalizing your response, you will try to structure it to make sure that you are developing the best type of response, considering all the information presented in the scenario. You will always try to figure out whether your response is aligned with the requirement or not. So this is what an answer plan is all about. So you need to develop something like this, an answer structure or an answer skeleton, before you finalize your answer, because your final answer should look something like this. It should be in paragraph form. There shouldn't be single line sentences or bullet points in your finalized answer. Your final answer should be in paragraph form. The examiner is hell-bent about the way in which you are supposed to present your answers. Your final answer should look like this. However, when it comes to planning your answer, you are supposed to keep things simple and come up with an answer structure. So all these things will be taught in depth in the third webinar. So please attend it without fail. Then you will understand how you should do these things. And then when attempting mock exams, you are supposed to keep practicing this answering and time management techniques in order to master them, in order to champion them by the time you are attempting your real examination. All right, so that's what your exam is all about. And then let's understand what your role is. You are supposed to play the role of a finance officer of your chosen company. So let's try to understand where you'd be located within your organization. So as you know, any typical organization carries three different departments, or it can be divided into three main parts rather. So at the very top, you get the strategic level. At this stage, you'd see the board members or the decision makers of your organization. So these individuals are involved with the long-term decision-making elements of any given organization. So these are the decision makers. They will think about the future of the company. And when thinking about the future of the company, they have to adopt something called an outside-in approach. What is an outside-in approach? This is an approach in which the strategic level decision makers or the board members need to think about the external elements or the external environment or the industry, as well as various different stakeholders, and how they might react to these decisions. So that's what an outside-in approach is all about. So before finalizing decisions, they have to think about how the industry is going to react to it, how various different stakeholders are going to react to these decisions, and then they have to think about how our internal dynamics will be impacted by these decisions. So that's up to decision making, long run, concerning the long term or the long run of the company, is part and parcel of the responsibilities of the strategic decision makers. And at the lowest level, you will see operational level employees. So these operational level employees are actually involved with implementing these decisions which are made at the very top of the organization at the strategic level. You are supposed to be involved with implementing these decisions. So as a finance officer, you are working with the operational level, the lowest level of your organization. So your job is not to arrive at decisions, but your job is to implement these decisions. And the management level, which sits right in the middle of the strategic and the operational levels, the management level staff are involved with linking long-term decision making with implementation. So these guys will say, okay, within this financial year, we are supposed to increase profitability by an X amount, and the management level will keep tabs about whether we are working towards these targets, whether we are poised to achieve these targets. If not, they will take corrective action, thereby providing leadership to operational level staff. So you are not involved with decision making. Instead, your role is to assist decision makers. So at this stage, at the operational case study, a moderate level of application and practical thinking is expected. So theories are heavily tested, as I mentioned earlier. This is a theory-heavy examination, but when it comes to practical decision-making, your decision-making skills are not actually tested, because that's not your role. You are not supposed to arrive at decisions. Decision-making is up to the strategic and management level employees. Your job is to implement these decisions. So that is why theories or conceptual knowledge is heavily tested at this examination. So that's your role. Then let's try to understand how your knowledge is tested at this exam. So information is provided about a fictitious company via a document which is known as a pre-scene. So this pre-scene, which is relevant for your upcoming examinations happening in November 2025 and February 2026, will be released next Friday. So please attend the pre-scene analysis session. Then you will understand how you should approach the pre-scene document. Then you will understand what type of an industry your selected company is based in. And at the same time, you will understand what happens within your chosen company. So let me quickly take you through the pre-scene document, which was released concerning the previous case study. So I'm going to take you through the annotated pre-scene, which we have developed. So as part of when developing this annotated pre-scene, what we have done is we have come up with tutor annotations with the intention of summarizing all pre-scene information. So this is not the document which you'd gain access to on Friday, because the CIMA examiner just shares the pre-scene document with you. This is a document which we at TCS have developed, where we have added annotations. That's why we call this the annotated pre-scene document. So if you look at this document, first things first, the examiner gives you a glimpse into the history of your company. So, the examiner is talking about the country your company is based in, and, what has happened since inception, and how we conduct our operations, what type of products we sell at the moment, what our management focuses on, the type of sales channels adopted by your chosen company. All these types of information concerning the history of your company shared with you in the first page of your pre-scene document. Then the examiner gives you a glimpse into industry dynamics in your chosen country in which your chosen company operates. So industry dynamics, concerning the market, as well as the products manufactured within this industry and the type of producers within this industry. All these types of information is shared with you. And there are newspaper articles which gives you some additional information about the type of syllabus areas which can be tested at the exam. That's exactly what you can see here. So we have summarized this entire news article in a simply easily understandable manner. And at the same time, we have also highlighted syllabus areas which can be tested, which indicates how these syllabus, how this information can be tested at your examination. And at the same time, when developing mock exams, we have made sure to cover all these elements which are highlighted within the annotated pre-scene. And also, there's information about the internal dynamics of your company. The examiner will definitely mention about your chosen company's mission statement and the type of products which we sell. Some information will be shared with you, and how our board functions, what type of leadership is there within your organization. Because by looking at the leadership and what they're interested in, we can easily predict the exam scenarios which can be tested, as well as aligned with it the syllabus areas which can be tested at your exam. And then the examiner starts to talk about what happens within various different departments of your chosen company. So the organizational hierarchies will be shared with you, and then the examiner will explain in depth about what happens within each and every department. So the type of sales channels, or how sales operations occur within your chosen company, and how production occurs, and the manufacturing information about the manufacturing process, and how we manage our purchasing function, and how we deal with the type of suppliers we deal with at the moment, and how our distribution department works, along with information concerning employees will be shared with you. And then the examiner talks about further information about what happens within your industry, which again hints about the probable exam scenarios which can be tested at the exam. Along with it, we can easily hint the syllabus areas which can be tested at your examination. And then the examiner gives you a glimpse into the financial performance of your chosen company. So the SOFP, as well as the statement of profit and loss, will be shared with you. So you can see the statement of profit and loss, which indicates financial performance concerning 2 different years. And the same could be said about the statement of financial position, or the balance sheet as well. And the examiner will share information about the statement of cash flows concerning your current year, or the previous year rather. And at the same time, budgets or budgetary information will be shared with you, thereby indicating what the company intends to achieve in the upcoming year. So budgets, along with budgets concerning sales revenue, cost of sales, as well as examples of a standard cost card. All these type of information is shared with you, so that you gain a good understanding about the financial standing of the company, and at the same time you gain an understanding of what the company intends to achieve in the future. So this information about how we how we develop our standards and how we prepare our budgets, along with taxation related information, because taxation falls under the F1 syllabus. Therefore, taxation will be tested at the exam. So all in all, what you can see in here is the fact that the examiner shares information about your industry. The examiner shares information about the internal dynamics of your chosen company, especially focusing your attention towards what happens within various different departments. And finally, the examiner talks about the financial performance, as well as what we intend to achieve in the future, along with certain news articles which indicates the type of syllabus areas or the probable exam scenarios which can be tested at the examination. So your knowledge is tested based on this document. So it's essential that you gain a good understanding of what appears within this document. So if you try to decrypt this document on your own, you will struggle a lot, because there's a lot of information. So this document goes on for 29 pages. So you won't know which of the information is actually important and which of the information you can forget about. So that is why we have come up with these annotations, thereby making sure that you are focusing on the most important points, and at the same time, you will understand how your knowledge can be tested at this examination. So that's the pre-scene document. And in the exam, you are required to address issues or questions relating to the operations of the company. So you are operating at the operational level. You are playing the role of a finance officer. So you are involved with day-to-day running of the business. So your knowledge concerning daily operations of your chosen company will be tested. So at the exam, you should show to the examiner and the marker the fact that you have a good understanding of what happens within your company. And at the same time, when developing answers, if you have to come up with the best type of answers or high quality answers, definitely you need to work on your application skills, thereby applying the conceptual knowledge which we have learned, especially via your P1 and F1 syllabi. So as I mentioned earlier, E1 is not really tested. A question concerning the training cycle can be thrown at you. That's the only way in which your E1 related knowledge can be tested. Other than that, everything else, all other syllabus areas are tied to your P1 and FY concepts. So when developing answers, for instance, if you look at this question, there's a question to do with capitalization of expenditure and how to treat them within our financial statements. So some information will be shared with you. Your job is to highlight how we should capitalize these expenses, whether we should include it within the statement of financial position or whether we should send them to the statement of profit and loss. So all these things are covered under IAS 16 property, plant and equipment. So if you do not know IAS 16, you cannot develop an answer for the first subtask. Similarly, if you look at the second subtask, it is tied to depreciation, again, which is tested under IAS 16. So if you don't know IAS 16, then you won't gain any marks for the second subtask as well. And looking at the third subtask, it's about recommending and justifying KPIs. So when it comes to KPI related questions, you can come up with practical answers. So out of these three subtasks, the first two subtasks are highly technical. So if you do not know IAS 16, you will end up scoring extremely low marks for this entire section. So similarly, let's look at section number 3. You are supposed to explain each variance. So there's information about various different variances, variable overhead and fixed overhead variances. There are some notes as well. So you need to consider all this information and explain these variances. So if you don't know what variable overhead and fixed overhead, expenditure, efficiency, and capacity variances are, you won't get any marks for the first subtask. And the second subtask is about, holding one of our, directors accountable for fixed production variances, which occurred, variable and fixed production variances. So if you don't know about operating and planning variances, the differences between the two, then you won't get any marks for the second subtask. And in the third subtask, it's about explaining 3 possible short-term options to utilize a cash surplus. Again, this is highlighted within your F1 syllabus. So if you are clueless of how to deal with cash surpluses, as per what's highlighted within the F1 syllabus, you will end up, failing this examination. So likewise, what I wanted to do was I wanted to highlight the fact that this is a highly technical examination where your conceptual knowledge concerning your P1 and F1 syllabi will be heavily tested. So it's essential that you get your grips about how each syllabus area can be tested at the exam. There's absolutely no point of learning theoretical concepts in isolation if you don't work towards understanding how to apply such conceptual knowledge when developing answers. So even if you know IAS 16 property, plant and equipment, if you don't know how to apply it, considering the information which is shared with you at the exam, you won't get any marks. So, although I'm saying these things right now, after the third webinar, you will get a good understanding of how you should tackle each syllabus area, because after understanding answering and time management techniques, you will know what you are expected to do when it comes to attempting mock exams and what you are expected to do when it comes to conducting revision. All right, so that's an overview of your examination. And let's talk about what you need to do in the upcoming 7 to 8 weeks. So first things first, make sure to attend the weekly webinars and workshops live, because in each workshop, you will learn some technical elements, and in each webinar, rather, you will learn some technical element, and in each workshop, you will understand how your knowledge is tested concerning your 3 knowledge pillars. And then read the annotated pre-seen After going through the annotated pre-scene, you will gain a better understanding of what your company is all about. You will get a better understanding of what happens within its industry, what appears within its financial statements, as well as what the company intends to achieve in the future. After going through the annotated pre-scene on your own, in order to gain an in-depth understanding, a better understanding of your pre-scene document, watch the 3 pre-scene analysis videos. So these 3 pre-scene analysis videos are divided as per how your pre-scene document is divided. So in the first part, we have highlighted about how the company operates, what happens within each and every department. In the second part, we have conducted a financial analysis, thereby taking you through the statement of profit and loss, statement of financial position, and statement of cash flows, along with evaluating the budgets or the financial plans for the upcoming year. And in the final pre-scene analysis video, we have taken you through the news articles which indicate the type of syllabus areas that can be tested at your real examination. So watch the 3 pre-scene analysis videos to gain an in-depth understanding of what appears within your pre-scene, to get an in-depth understanding about your industry and what happens within your chosen company. And then you have to refer to a set of slides as well. Refer to industry and financial analysis slides. Let me quickly show you how, what is covered within these slides. So if you look at the financial analysis slides, we have evaluated each and every financial statement, thereby evaluating each in depth, yet making sure to keep things simple so that you can easily gain an understanding of what appears within each financial statement. So we have evaluated the statement of profit and loss, the statement of financial position or the balance sheet, as well as the statement of cash flows. And then we have also conducted a ratio analysis. Again, we have evaluated each and every ratio so that you gain a good understanding about the financial standing of your company. So you need not spend time or waste time rather to conduct a financial analysis. We have done it for you. And similarly, you need not conduct an industry analysis on your own. We have done it for you. Our industry analysis slides are divided into 4 main parts. In the first part, we have provided an overview into your industry, thereby defining what your industry is all about. In the second part, we have explained about the competitive landscape. And in the third, we have explained about industry trends. Mind you, based on these industry trends, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. And towards the very end, concerning 2 real-life companies, we have explained how real-life companies operate within your industry. So go through this. You need to go through this set of slides. On top of that, you need to go through the top 10 issues slides, which indicate the most probable syllabus areas which can be tested at your exam. Also, you have to go through the theory recaps concerning your E1, F1, and P1 syllabi after attempting each mock exam. If you feel that you were struggling with a certain theoretical concept, don't worry. Simply go through these revision cards in a jiffy. You are in a position to learn each theoretical concept. And then the most important thing is to practice mock exams. So when it comes to practicing mock exams, we recommend you to attempt 6 mock exams, especially if you are coming through the FLP route. So why 6 mock exams? Because if you had gone through past exam variants or past papers, you would have seen that the examiner develops 6 different variants or 6 different papers based on a pre-scene document. So the examiner is forced to develop 6 variants or 6 papers, primarily given the fact that the examiner intends to cover the entire syllabus. So your F1 and P1 syllabi are vast. So if the examiner develops just 2 or 3 variants, the examiner cannot cover the entire syllabus. So if you are to cover the entire syllabus, you have to attempt 6 mock exams. There's no way out, because if you are not fully prepared, if you don't know how each syllabus area can be tested at the exam, if you don't know how you should approach each syllabus area, thereby develop your answers or structure your answers, you will struggle a lot at your examination. So I've dealt with students who think that they can pass this exam by simply attempting 2 or 3 mock exams. You are gravely mistaken, because within 2 or 3 mocks, you can't cover all syllabus areas. So let's assume when attempting your 2 or 3 mocks, you didn't see a question to do with regression analysis. But at your exam, you'd see a regression analysis related question, which usually carries a weightage of 60%. So if you don't know what regression analysis is, if you have not seen a question tied to regression analysis when conducting your preparations, then you will end up failing this exam. So that's why it's essential that you attempt 6 mock exams. If you're planning to attempt just 2 or 3 mock exams, or if you're planning not to attempt any mocks, then you will have to repeat this examination once more. So at this juncture, it's essential that you make up your mind to attempt all 6 mock exams, which are developed with the intention of covering all syllabus areas to make sure that you are fully prepared to excel at your real examination. And then you have to also refer to and redevelop answer plans concerning all mock exams. So focused on each mock, we have developed answer plans. You saw what answer plans look like a while back. So just going through these answer plans won't help. After attempting each mock exam, when conducting revision, you should take steps to redevelop answer plans on your own. I'm going to explain how you should do these things in a little while when I'm taking you through the 8-week study plan. So all in all, what you need to understand is you need to have a good understanding of your pre-seen document. After learning answering and time management techniques, you need to practice these techniques whenever you are attempting mock exams. So when attempting mocks, you have to attempt them under exam conditions. And just attempting mocks won't help. After attempting each mock exam, you need to take steps to conduct your revision, thereby refining your answering technique. Because at this exam, it is not about learning theory or application. It is mainly focused on improving your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. And the best way to practice them, practice these 3 techniques, is to attempt each mock exam under exam conditions. And after attempting each mock exam, you have to refine your answering technique by redeveloping answer plans. So you will understand how you should redevelop answer plans after you have attended the 3rd webinar. Okay, so that is your to-do list. And having said that, before we move on to the 8-week study plan, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the OCS page. If you are yet to create a free user account, click on this button and create a free user account. Once you have created it, you will gain access to our student dashboard, via which you will gain access to free study material, which consists of access to mock number 1, the questions, the suggested answers, and the answer plans. You will also gain access to the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops we conduct focused on your OCS exam via the free account. And on top of that, if you are interested in investing on our paid content, check our sample material before you do so. And if you are yet to join our OCS WhatsApp group, click on this button and join our WhatsApp group. Via this group, we will keep you guys informed about the commencement dates and times of the weekly webinars and workshops. Along with it, if you have any questions or concerns, you can get instantaneous support via this group. And also you can engage with group learning, where you can share knowledge with other students within the group. Also, I will be sharing hordes of free resources each and every week via this WhatsApp group. So if you're yet to join it, please make sure to join it by clicking on this button. And talking about what we offer 2 courses, the Essential course and the Value course. The Essential course is designed for those who have completed their E1, F1, and P1 OTQs. So as I mentioned earlier, if you have completed your OTQs, things would be easier compared to someone who is coming through an exemption route, given the fact that these are highly technical exam, and you have already learned these technical elements via the OTQ exams. So under the Essential course, you would gain access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops which are conducted on a weekly basis. You will gain access to 3 mock exams with suggested answers. So I was talking about the benefit of attempting 6 mock exams, but under the Essential course, you only have access to 3 mock exams. Why is this the case? Because you have already learned your theory under your E1, F1, and P1 OTQ exams. And at this exam, it's simply a matter of improving your application skills. Since you know your theory already, by attempting just 3 mock exams, you can significantly improve your application skills, thereby pass this exam comfortably. So that's why only 3 mock exams are available under the Essential course. However, if you feel that you have to be fully prepared, then simply go for the Value course, in which you would gain access to 6 mock exams with suggested answers. Under the essential course, you would gain access to pre-scene analysis videos, 3 videos in total. You'd gain access to the annotated pre-scene industry and financial analysis slides. I showed you what these resources look like. And also, you'd gain access to the top 10 likely issue slides, the case study familiarization kit. Once you have read through this familiarization kit, within 10 to 15 minutes, you will gain an in-depth understanding about the technicalities behind your exam, and you'd also gain access to a tutor-managed live chat. So the essential course is priced at just £99. And talking about the value course is designed for those who are coming through the FLP route and those who had failed the exam previously. So both these sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theory knowledge and issues with application. So with the intention of making sure that you learn all theoretical concepts, how each theoretical concept is tested, and making sure that you significantly improve your application skills, we have included some additional resources under the value course on top of what appears under the essential course. So under the value course, you'd gain access to 6 mock exams with suggested answers, thereby covering the entire syllabus. That's why we have mentioned that the value course comes with full syllabus coverage. These 6 mock exams cover all syllabus areas. There are 72 subtasks in total within these 6 mock exams. That's enough and more practice for you to get things right at your real examination. You'd also gain access to the same type of resources which are included under the essential course. On top of it, you'd gain access to the OTQ revision card. So if you cannot remember certain theoretical concepts, or if you are clueless of certain theoretical concepts, simply refer to the revision cards and brush up your knowledge in a jiffy. And you'd also gain access to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams, which is a lifesaver, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you when it comes to understanding how to approach each syllabus area, how to structure your answer, how to work on your application skills. And on top of that, you gain access to the online mock exam platform on which you can attempt all 6 mock exams under real exam conditions. So at TCS, we have developed the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system. So you'd gain access to this Pearson VUE, the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system under the value course, which paves way for you to master your answering, time management, and stress management techniques under real exam conditions. So you won't struggle at your exam because you have the chance of attempting all 6 mocks under exam conditions. So the value course is priced at £199. So you can invest on your preferred course by clicking on either of these buttons. And all products are available until the 28th of February 2026. So if you're planning on sitting for your OCS exam in February, which is the next sitting, you can invest right now and get a head start. So that's what we offer. I hope you'd start your preparations right now. So having said that, let's look at the important dates which you need to remember. Exam entry closes concerning the exams happening in November 2025 on Tuesday, the 21st of October 2025. So if you are planning to sit for your OCS exam this November, you have to book your place before the 21st of October, because beyond this point, you cannot book your position to sit for the exams happening in November. Although this is the exam entry closing date, I'm asking you to, if you have already planned to sit for the OCS exams in November, I'm asking you to book your exam right now, because if you do so, you will commit to the study plan. If not, when you wait until the 3rd week of October, you might feel that you have not conducted enough preparations. So because of that, you will think about attempting the exam in February. And in February, again, you will think about attempting the exam in May. So don't think about postponing your exam. Do it right now, because if you put in the effort, you can easily pass this examination. So you would have gone through the to-do list. You would have listened to what I was talking about throughout this webinar. You might be fearful of how much effort you need to put in and whatnot, but don't worry. In a little while, I'm going to take you through the study plan. When I've taken you through the study plan, you will understand that this exam is going to be a walk in the park if you put in a lot of put in a bit of effort in a disciplined manner each and every week, rather than waiting until the last moment to start preparation. So commit yourself right now, book your exam, then you won't postpone your exam to the sitting which is happening in February. Because especially if you're coming through the FLP route, I know for a fact that it's essential that you pass in your first sitting, and it's essential that you do not postpone. So book your sitting right now, because if so, you can attempt OCS in November and attempt MCS in February and attempt SCS in May. So within a period of 9 months, you can complete the entire course. So try to achieve it. And the exam dates are from the 5th of November to the 7th of November, 2025. Okay, so having said that, let's try to understand what appears within the 8-week study plan. So I'm going to take you through the study plan which appears within the same OCS page via our website. So as you can see, we have divided each and every week. So there's 8 weeks until your examination, counting this week. So let's try to understand what you need to achieve in each week leading up to your examination. So we are in week number 1. This is the week before the pre-scene is released. So within this week, you are supposed to dedicate 8 hours of study time, in which simply you are supposed to refer to OTQ revision cards or the theory recaps. When when going through these revision cards, focus your attention towards your P1 and F1 revision cards. Forget about E1, because as I mentioned earlier, E1 is not really tested at this exam, because it has everything to do with decision making, and you are not supposed to play the role of a decision maker. Instead, you are supposed to assist decision makers at this exam. So go through the P1 and F1 revision cards. You need not really try and memorize things. Simply go through them to get your bearings with which syllabus areas are tested at the exam, because all these syllabus areas are covered within our mock exams. So you can cover all these things when you start your mock attempts and when you conduct revision based on the answer plans or based on redeveloping answer plans. For now, within this week, simply go through these revision cards on your own leisurely, and refer to the OCS familiarization kit to gain a sound understanding of the technicalities behind your OCS exam. So that's what you need to achieve within this week. And in week number 2, again, you have to dedicate 8 hours of study time. And the second week is dedicated towards decrypting your pre-scene document. So first things first, attend the second webinar. Then you will understand how you should approach your pre-scene document. And once you have learned these things, learned the technicalities, watch the 3 pre-scene analysis videos to gain an understanding about what happens within your company, what happens within your industry, as well as what the future holds, and along with it, the type of syllabus areas which can be tested at your exam. And refer to after you have watched these 3 pre-scene analysis videos, go through the annotated pre-scene on your own, thereby revising your knowledge. And then also refer to the industry and financial analysis slides which we have developed. So as I mentioned earlier, the second week is dedicated towards understanding the pre-scene document. Once you have gained a good understanding of the pre-scene, then in week number 3, you have to kickstart your mock attempts and revision. So before you attempt any of the mock exams, attend the 3rd webinar, in which I'm going to teach you answering and time management techniques. Not just teach you, I'm going to take you through one of the mock exams, thereby explaining how these answering and time management techniques should be practically implemented. So after learning these techniques, put your knowledge to test by attempting mock number 1 via the exam platform. So even if you do not invest on our paid content, under the free content, you will gain access to mock number 1, which you can attempt under exam conditions via the exam platform which we have developed for you. So attempt mock number 1 under exam conditions, try to implement the answering and time management techniques which we have learned. Then you will realize what your shortcomings are. Then you will realize how you'd struggle under pressure, because it's not easy to sit in one place across 3 hours and keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's not easy to operate in a stressful situation or operate under exam conditions. I want you guys to experience all these problems. You running out of time, experiencing stressful situations, experiencing brain freeze, struggling with the answering technique. I want you guys to experience all these problems right at the beginning of your preparations so that you would pull your socks and take steps to significantly overcome these issues or significantly improve your skill set. Because if you do so, you won't struggle at your real exam. So attempt mock number 1 via the exam platform and attempt mock number 2 within the same week as well. So that is why, since you have to attempt 2 mock exams within week 3, this is the most arduous week as per our study plan, in which you are supposed to dedicate 12 hours of study time, because each mock attempt takes 3 hours of your time. So when you are supposed to attempt 2 mock exams, this itself will take 6 hours of your time. And as I mentioned earlier, after attempting mock exams, your job will not stop there. Instead, you have to take steps to conduct your revision. And the best type of revision you have to be involved with is to redevelop answer plans. So once you're done with mock number 1, redevelop the answer plan concerning mock number 1. Before you do so, go through the answer plans which we have developed. Then you will understand how you should have approached each question, how you should have structured your answers. Once you learn these things, keep our answer plans aside, TCS's answer plans aside, and develop answer plans or redevelop answer plans on your own. You need not time this. The objective is to make sure that you test your knowledge, you practically test whether you are in a position to implement the knowledge which you have gained via the answer plans of TCS. So develop answer plans on your own. Once you have developed your answer plans, compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's to further enhance your understanding of how you should have approached each and every question, to further get an understanding of what your shortcomings are. Because when you understand your shortcomings, you can take steps to overcome them when conducting preparations. So similarly, in week number 4, you have to focus your attention towards one single mock exam. So from week number 4 onwards, it's simply a matter of attempting a mock exam per week and conducting revision focused on the weekly mock exam. So that's why you are supposed to dedicate just 9 hours of study time per week from week 4 onwards. So the most hectic is week number 3, in which you need to dedicate 12 hours of time, study time, because you have to attempt 2 mocks and conduct revision focused on both the mock exams. But from week 4 onwards, it's simply a matter of attempting a weekly mock and revising focused on the weekly mock. That's why you simply need to dedicate 9 hours of study time. So within week 4, attempt mock number 3, thereby practicing answering time management and stress management techniques. Once you have practiced all these things, redevelop the answer plan and compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's to refine your understanding. So similarly, in week number 5, focus your attention towards attempting mock number 4 and redeveloping answer plans concerning mock number 4. And in week number 6, focus on mock number 5. And in week number 7, focus your attention towards mastering mock number 6. And once you are done with all these 6 mock exams, in your final week leading up to the exam, which is your 8th week, you are simply supposed to refer to the answer plans concerning mocks 1 to 6 and reread the annotated pre-seen one last time. These are the only activities which you should do the week leading up to the exam. In the week leading up to the exam, don't try to attempt any mock exams. Don't try to develop any answer plans. Instead, you should take steps to relax. Why am I asking you guys to relax? Because as I mentioned earlier, the examiner tries to replicate a real-life corporate environment at your exam. So it's as if you are walking into office on a Monday. So if you are to function properly on a Monday, you have to be well rested during the weekend. However, if you were partying all night, if you were not getting your appropriate sleep, if you're not eating properly, if you are under intense levels of stress towards the weekend, can you function properly on a Monday? You can't. You will fall asleep. You will crumble under pressure. You will panic. So I do not want you to experience all these negative elements. That is why I expect you guys to finish all your work by week number 7. And in the week leading up to the exam, I want you guys to start relaxing because 99% of the students out there will be trying to do everything under the sun in the final week. whereas you are relaxing, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you, because if you are relaxed before the exam, you will be relaxed during the exam. On the other hand, if you were stressed before the exam, you will definitely be stressed at your real examination. So in this exam, the examiner is not just testing your theory knowledge and application skills. The examiner is also testing whether you can manage stressful situations, because if you are incapable of managing stress, however much knowledgeable you are not fit to do the job of a finance officer. You are not fit to move to the MCS exam or the management level. So at the management level, you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. So if you cannot handle pressure as a finance officer, how can you handle pressure as a finance manager? So that's the logic which is in the mind of the examiner. So that's why at this exam, the examiner is also, on top of testing whether you have learned your theories, on top of testing whether you have improved your application skills, the examiner is also testing whether you can manage your stress levels. So that's why it's essential that you take a break in your final week. So don't try to attempt any mock exams or develop answer plans. Most students, 99% of the students out there, will start preparations just 2 weeks before the exam. So they will be scrambling for time. They will be trying to do everything under the sun within these last 2 weeks, whereas you are relaxing, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you at your examination. And when you're going through these answer plans in your final week, when you're going through these 6 answer plans, it's as if you are going through the entire syllabus one last time, thereby revising your knowledge, revising your skill set concerning application skills, trying to remember how you should structure your answers, trying to remember how you should approach each and every syllabus area, which is the best type of revision you have to be involved with. And at the same time, you are avoiding undue stressful situations and undue negativity. All right, so I hope you will stick to the study plan. And when it comes to approaching each and every week, I'm not going to talk about week number 3, because in week number 3, you will be struggling a bit when attempting the first 2 mock exams and when conducting revision, because you are doing something for the first time. But you will get your bearings with your mock attempts and revision from week number 4 onwards. So let's assume you are in week number 4. Leave out Mondays, because Mondays are usually hectic. On Tuesday, attempt the mock exam, dedicate 3 hours of your time, attempt the mock exam under exam conditions on Tuesday, and take a break on Wednesday, and go through the answer plans on Thursday. After going through the answer plans on Thursday, on Friday, take steps to redevelop the answer plans. And on Friday itself, compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's. Do not work towards the weekends, because in the weekend, you have the webinar, you have to attend the webinar or the workshop. So, and on top of that, I want you guys to spend time with your loved ones, be involved with household chores during the weekends, because that's what you usually do. You work during the weekdays and spend time with family members, and you'd be involved with household chores towards the weekend. So stick to the same process. I don't want you to change your routines. Instead, work during the weekdays, attempt your mock on Tuesday, take a break on Wednesday, and focus on your revision on Thursday. And on the same day, although I said that on Thursday, go through the answer plans, and on Friday, I asked you to redevelop answer plans. On Thursday itself, after going through answer plans, you can redevelop the answer plans. If so, you are only supposed to work twice a week, on Tuesday and Thursday. And if you do this on a weekly basis, this repetitive discipline will ensure that you complete all 6 mock exams, you complete all your revision. And when you know for a fact that we have attempted all mock exams, when you know for a fact that we have gone through all syllabus areas, when you know for a fact that you know how to structure answers concerning each and every syllabus area, you will be relaxed compared to all other students who would be scrambling for time. And in week number 8, you are taking further steps to further relax yourself, which is going to be essential to pass this examination. So that's what you need to achieve. You can gain access to this 8-week study plan via our website itself. And I hope and pray that you will stick to this 8-week study plan religiously. If so, you can easily complete all work in a stress-free environment. Thereby, you won't be stressed at your real examination. All right. So that's our 8-week study plan. And those who stuck to our study plan achieved a good pass easily in the previous sitting. So in the OCS exams, which were conducted in May 2025, we achieved a pass rate of 95%. And Jonathan was the highest scorer. Someone who came through the exemption route, didn't know anything about the OCS exam. This was his first attempt and ended up scoring 109 marks. So as I mentioned earlier, your pass mark is just 80 out of 150. But this individual in the first sitting itself scored 109 marks simply by sticking to our study plan. And this individual was not stressed at all when conducting preparations. And because of that, this individual was not stressed during the exam as well. So I want you to achieve a similar feat by sticking to the 8-week study plan, which we have prepared for you. All right. So having said that, it brings us to the Q&A. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can either switch on your mic and talk or drop us a message via the chat. I will address each and every one of your concerns. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks, thank you for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. And if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Simply click on the contact button and drop your message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during office hours, or you can directly email us via info@study@tcs.com. Or if you need instantaneous support, you can reach me via this WhatsApp number. And I invite you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because via YouTube, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops. And on top of that, next Friday, we will be releasing 6 TikTok videos, thereby highlighting the main elements which appear within your pre-seen document, thereby sharing information, highlighting or creating a pre-seen mind map. So all these free resources are on offer, and make use of them by following us on TikTok. So having said that, the concluding thought is to approach this exam as an opportunity to learn rather than an exam to pass, because primarily given the fact that the examiner tries to replicate a real-life corporate environment, the examiner is testing whether you are practical as a finance officer, whether you are capable of applying the conceptual knowledge which you have learned via E1, F1, and P1 syllabi. So when approaching this exam, don't try to memorize anything, because this is not an academic qualification. As I mentioned earlier, this is a professional qualification. So, approach this exam with a practical mindset and try to improve your skill set in the upcoming weeks. Because if you take steps to improve your skill set, you will definitely pass this exam comfortably. Having said that, it brings us to the end of the first webinar. I hope you gained a good understanding of what this examination is all about and what you are supposed to do in the upcoming 8 weeks when it comes to preparations. And I hope to see you guys next Friday, in which I'm going to conduct a pre-seen analysis. Thank you for joining. Take care, and I'll see you guys next Friday.